And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of DeathStryke Media's Force Friday show. It's Friday. We're talking Star Wars. And guess what? We are back in the main studio this week. What will be next week? I don't know. It all depends on what my newborn wants us to do. All right.
She's in charge.
She is in charge, and that's how it should be.
Nice.
But thank you guys for tuning in this week. We've got some fun news stories for you guys. For all you guys who are new to the channel, well, welcome. Anyone who's a continuing patron of ours, welcome back. I know it's been kind of sketchy back and forth. It's a new baby. It's what happens. Sometimes we get to do it, sometimes we don't. You'll get used to it. Anyway,
very family-friendly show here.
We try to be. Star Wars is a family, family-friendly films, or for the most part, excluding like Rogue One.
That's a real tongue twister for you.
Yeah. Especially when you're kind of tired. But however, joining me today, I've got James Armstrong. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be back.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've seen you.
Yeah, and I was honored that in the last show that you guys referred to the show's setting at my place as the Bat Cave.
Yeah, it is the Bat Cave.
Yeah, appreciate that.
One, I don't know where it is, and two, do you know where it is?
I'm not telling.
It's outside of Gotham's jurisdiction. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No district attorney can touch it.
Hey, there you go. That's what matters, right? Well, we're gonna go ahead and kick off this show with a big story that broke a couple days ago. And I would say it broke. It's more like Rian Johnson tweeted out or put on Instagram. It's a wrap. Episode 8 is officially done with post-production. It is in the can, they say. Well, in this case, a digital can. The picture that Rian Johnson tweeted out was himself in the typical selfie pose with his team of post-production people behind him, saying he'll miss working with that team. And I'm excited to know that, one, this film is done, and two, I'm afraid for this film for being done, and hopefully it won't get pirated before the film comes out. Now, knowing how desperate people, especially Star Wars fans, can get about seeing new content and materials, how secure do you think they're going to keep this film?
Yeah, no, it's like, I hope that they just have it on some massive flash drive that's just in a safe, guarded by people with automatic weaponry.
That's right.
Or some kind of experimental heat gun, because we don't have blasters yet.
Not yet.
We should be getting there.
I got a quick side note. While they were filming, it was either like Return of the King or Two Towers, during the post-production sequences to get them to the theatrical release, so it was like a month or 2 months before the theatrical release, they had the whole movie on basically an iPod. And they were moving it from place to place, secretly, so you couldn't tell what it was. But somebody figured it out and was following these people around trying to get it. It's crazy. And that was for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Mind you, what about the crazy Star Wars fans or the crazy people who want to hack everything and charge people like Bitcoin for ransom? I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's like you're feeling what all of us feel in the build-up to a major motion picture. Like,
that's right.
I had that same fear with BVS. You're having it for The Last Jedi.
Yep.
I'm sure there are other major franchises out there that worry about it. Like, I feel like there was one not too long ago that had a threat to be pirated. I
think that was the Pirates movie, actually.
Was it? Yes. Thank you. It was one of the big franchises, and it was also a Disney property.
Yep.
So you got to think the hackers are going after Disney.
But the difference I feel is although it is Disney, it's Disney Lucasfilm.
True.
And I think they can probably throw it into their vault where they take out movies every 20 years and just stick it there. And no one can get to it.
Yeah, just hand it off to George Lucas, and the film can lay low at his place for a while in his massive vault.
And he'll watch it forever. He'll be like, well, it was a good movie. I can't do George Lucas's voice. I'm not that good. But
just gotta just tone down your own voice a little bit and just be kind of just mellow a bit. Yeah, just monotone and mellow a little bit. But I can just imagine Lucas looking at the film and then thinking, well, I'm going to open my Adobe software here. I think that this one scene runs a little too long. And, there's a nice little chunk over here where we could have a little bit more dialogue. So I think we're just going to have to fluff this up a little bit.
No, as long as he doesn't touch it.
I think he'll be touching it.
No.
He's
I know, but he's done.
You want to, George.
He's done. He's done with Star Wars properties, and I think that's a good thing. He's sold it for billions of dollars. Rian Johnson has had zero trauma with this film. Nothing with Kathleen Kennedy, with Disney, with anybody else. Not even with the staff. Everybody loved to work with him. So I'd imagine they're going to keep this thing in that secret vault or the Club 33 property that's on the Disney property. It's so super secret where you can't find it until the day they rush it to the theater for the premiere, which will probably in Los Angeles at Hollywood again, like they did for Rogue One and Force Awakens.
Have it labeled some weird code name or something.
Don't make it as obvious, like, you know, the Red Cup, as we know, the Solo film. That's what the Han Solo project name was called, the Red Cup.
Yeah.
It's like, it was pretty obvious. Don't call it like you know, something Jedi. Just be like Disney film, random Disney film. Yeah, something. I don't know.
Or like you could like camouflage it under one of their other upcoming films. Like call it a Coco re-release. Named after the Pixar film is coming out in November. So.
Or Coco Spanish release or something like that. I don't know. Something.
Coco Chewbacca edition.
No, that's too obvious.
Too obvious. Yeah. That was the best I could come up with on
I think just calling it Coco would be just fine. But we're going to jump to the next story here. Speaking of Rian Johnson being all done, you know what's not all done? The Han Solo film. And for Han Solo film news, the only person that we're trusting to go to is Ron Howard. Because, well, he loves tweeting out pictures and sending stuff to Instagram. And rightfully so. He's still trying to right the ship, which I don't think he needs to do anymore. I think we're all kind of blew through that storm.
Feeling good about it?
Well, I don't know if we're all feeling good about it, but we're like, okay, enough. We get the point. You're trying to fix it. Now just work on the movie. But in these latest tweets, we get some fun nice pictures of I guess like a hazy looking landscape, maybe some Imperial officers in the background. We also get some Ralph McQuarrie sort of style of lettering, so that's kind of fun knowing that he's taking influence from the original concept artist of the original trilogy, which is amazing. Some fan actually found the exact translation, and it's a bunch of random letters, which is fun. Okay. But it's on a concept art piece from Yavin 4. So the Yavin 4, of course, is the Rebel base in the original trilogy. So it's kind of fun to maybe they're going to Yavin, which wouldn't make any sense because he has no business with the rebellion. But if it's just a language, that's different. Who knows?
Or it could just be an Easter egg. Like,
it could
we toss this in there.
Yeah, kind of like what they did with Indiana Jones and putting C-3PO and R2-D2 in the hieroglyphs. Yeah. So it could be any of those things. Maybe he's just showing the stuff he knows he's going to have deleted scenes, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Or like also going back to Raiders, in the final scene, there's the thing that Marion and Indy are tied to. There's a circular object on the top of it, and that's R2-D2's head.
Yep, that's absolutely correct.
Of course, my favorite. Sorry, not to get sidetracked again. But my favorite was in Temple of Doom, where in the opening chase, Indy is leaving the club, and you notice that it's called the Cafe Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Love it. I love it.
Oh yeah, they're Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were so intertwined for so many years, and they had so many cross references, subtle, and only if you're a true fan looking for it. Now that we have Blu-rays and DVDs, anything in digital, we can stop it like real time, or not real time, but very clearly see individual pieces of art or something like, oh, that's from that, or this is a reference for over there. Totally obscure to anybody else, and it wouldn't make a lick of difference for the movie itself. But knowing that we know it is what matters.
Yeah. It's like how every Star Wars film, I think, has a Wilhelm scream in it.
All of them. Yep. Yeah, every single one.
That's what I thought.
And a lot of movies have the Wilhelm scream, but in particular, you can always find the Wilhelm scream, and I've got a bad feeling about this. Every single Star Wars movie. They almost nicked it in Rogue One because K2SO says, I've got a bad feeling about, and then Cassian's like, shut up.
Nice.
So it's stuff, it's little stuff for the fans that they kind of put in, and that's fantastic. I love the fact they do that. And for people like me who are big book readers and kind of like go back into further details and like, oh, that's that thing, or oh my God, look in Rogue One, there's the ghost, there's Chopper, and everyone's like, no one knows if you haven't seen Rebels, but for fans like me, it's like, okay, cool. And knowing that Ralph McQuarrie art is being influenced, or Ron Howard is taking influence from that and putting it into a Han Solo film, it totally works for me. As long as they don't have Ewoks in this movie, I don't think I'll dislike it. So, but with that being said, within those tweets, Ron Howard has put out that Emilia Clarke has wrapped up her scenes for the Han Solo film. Her principal photography is done. Now, it did specifically say principal photography. So will there be more reshoots with her later on? We don't know. And remember, we'll say this every time we talk about reshoots. Reshoots are normal. In this case, it's a longer exception because a different director took over. And we're probably already past the initial principal photography stage, which is fine because you have a new director and a new... probably new vision and a new script, improvising on what Lord Miller had already done, which is totally legit.
Oh yeah.
But again, her principal photography is done, so maybe she'll come back to do more if they need her. If not, I'm happy to know they're wrapping these characters and these actors and actresses up one by one, so we know we're getting that much closer to a final day of principal photography. Yeah. So how do you feel about all of the photos that have come out so far via Ron Howard, and do you think we've righted the ship enough where we can stop doing that?
No, I mean, I think that's what social media is there for. Just as long as you're not posting anything that could potentially spoil a plot point, I think it's fine. It's like with Rian Johnson's photo with them wrapping up. I like how there weren't any actors in the photo. It was all the people behind the scenes
who don't get enough.
They don't.
Love.
I mean, they're just in the credits, which I never watch. I always leave.
Unless there's a post-credit scene. This is what happens when you work at a theater for too long. You're like, God dang post-credit scenes.
Yeah. Make them stop.
Yeah.
But I do like to have the folks behind the camera get a shout out. And so Ron Howard's been good. Like he has shown him like editing or like supervising certain scenes.
Yeah.
As well as highlighting, action set pieces and the weird desert shot that they had.
That's right. Yeah. I know the first picture that we saw of Rian Johnson, and as soon as the post-production began, it was Rian Johnson working on the opening crawl for the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So that was exciting. But other than that, so you think that they shouldn't release any more photos? You don't mind? You don't mind? Okay. So do you think that Ron Howard has righted the ship enough to where he can maybe not do as much, maybe?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that from here on out, he might not have much to show off. It'll just be him in the editing room.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, just bring him on, man.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree. I think done the right way, having those behind the scenes photos are okay, as long as, again, like you said, not giving away plot points, maybe not even showing actors, just
right.
Or main actors. You can show like background characters, and that's fine, or out of focus people, that's fine. But having like Han, we've seen a behind-the-scenes photo of Chewie, but not really on screen. He was looking at a shot that was already shot, so that's okay. I'm fine with that, but not actually in the role of a scene that they're actually filming with the main actor. I wouldn't want that.
Well, like I think it could be fun if they like or if like Ron Howard posted a GIF of Alden Ehrenreich like whipping out his blaster. And then just have that on loop. It's like gun goes out, gun goes in, gun goes out, gun goes in.
Oh, they or as maybe to I don't want to say I don't ever want to trick the audiences of what they could or could not get. Maybe recreate the cantina scene with him in it instead of Han. Just to be like, what do you think?
No, I mean like keep it up. I mean the good thing about social media is it's free. You're just putting images out there.
But there's people like me or who speculate on it, like, well, what does that mean? Are we gonna get greedo in this film? We actually might. There's a solid chance that we could actually get greedo. I
hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, because he's a I don't know if he's a bounty hunter or a gangster or working for the Hutts, but he very well could be in this film. I mean, he was in the prequels. Mm-hmm. He was Anakin's friend, which is odd.
Right, he was in episode 1.
Yeah, right? On Tatooine. So it's very... That brings up another point. Are we going to go back to Tatooine?
Probably. I mean...
We're always going to go back to Tatooine, and we're always going to go back to Jakku.
Like
desert planets.
Like, if Sean were here, he's like, why are we always going to the desert planets? Why is the
cheap
point? Yeah, cheap sets and deserts, and it's like, aren't there any trees in this galaxy?
Nope. only on the forest moon of Endor. But yeah, with all this being said, I think I do like your idea of bring on the pictures, but not having plot point pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always good.
Yeah.
And
just have them just or like it could just be a cool shot that they like that won't end up in the movie. I mean,
I'm still thinking like a lot of these shots. That is Boba Fett. Yeah. A lot of these shots that are maybe tweeted out are going to be behind the scenes, like deleted scenes.
Yeah.
So like it's okay to show this because I don't think I'm going to use it later on, but I'm going to shoot it anyway just in case.
Yeah. Again, that's how we got the classic shot of Jen Erso from the first Rogue One teaser. That ending shot of her in a Imperial uniform. They just thought it looked cool.
Well, there's a whole story behind that too. They had filmed a whole bunch of stuff, and they went back and re-edited the entire freaking movie because it was too dark. So a lot of the scenes that you saw in the trailer were not actually in the movie because they had to change the movie before it was released.
Oh yeah, that was a good chunk of it, but that like that specific shot, I think Gareth Edwards did say that he spent like 20 minutes just filming that because he thought it looked cool. And when like the lights turned on and she was in costume, and they did that a few times, like they just kind of made their impromptu sizzle reel. It's a really cool article. I'll have to send it to you once I find it.
Yeah, please do.
I think I still have it bookmarked.
That's cool.
But yeah, I think we're feeling good about this. And now they'll go on to having a rough cut, and they'll see what they have to play with and where they gotta do needed reshoots.
Reshoots
up the film.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's just a matter of combining the original script with what they did shoot under the guys when
there's always script script changes between storyboard or writing the script, storyboarding, shooting the film, and then reshoots. They all have different bits because when you write a story and you go to film it, yes, it is Kanan. When you film it, it's always going to be different because you might have overthought something or underthought something. It's like, well, where's the segue between here and here? There's a lot of it is Kanan. I know. There's a lot of headcanon that can be developed while you're writing and storyboarding. So, it's one of those things that it might be a good thing. I don't know. Yeah,
no. I mean, you just always got to patch everything together, and that way it doesn't look choppy.
That's right.
I mean, what would Han Solo say? I mean, you can be enthusiastic about a project, but don't get cocky.
Yes, that is Daddy's helmet. Thank you. But yeah, no.
Smart kid. He knows how to match up everything.
Yeah, he does. He's a smart kid. I'm raising him right. He knows Star Wars.
No, like I walked in here earlier and I asked him which one's BB-8, and he went right to him. So
yeah,
I should bring over.
He's pretty smart.
I should bring over my one Batman pop vinyl just to hide it in there and kind of throw off the system a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be funny actually. Like, who's this? I don't know. But let's awkwardly segue to the next story because, well, there's no easy transition from all the stuff that you just saw on screen. So, we'll talk Rian Johnson for a minute. So, Rian Johnson, as we all know, we just talked about for the a little earlier that they have wrapped production or post production for Rogue One, or not say Rogue One, post production for The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. I've been watching Rogue One a lot lately.
Nice.
For making this anyway. But what is known for most filmmakers and most writers, they always pull influences from other things that they like, that they heard, like, oh, that's a good idea. Apparently one of Rian Johnson's not main influence, but one of his influences that he really kind of stuck with was a Hitchcock movie by the name of To Catch a Thief, which I didn't think I didn't think that was ever gonna happen.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Exactly. I could see an action flick or another space opera of some sort, or some of the sci-fi
Kurosawa film or something.
Something that would influence George Lucas to make films. But a Hitchcock movie is sort of like a spy thriller sort of thing. It's like, what kind of movie are we getting? Which makes your head spin a little bit in a good way, kind of re-rationalizing some stuff that maybe you didn't think of or you overthought of or whatever. But it seems to me that we're gonna get another spy movie. What are your thoughts?
I can dig this. No, I was like, I'd actually just rewatched this movie not too long ago. We had it, and it also has been on Netflix for a fairly good time. I saw it a couple years back at the Paramount. They did a double feature of that one and Rear Window, and it's just absolutely stunning to see two appearances of Grace Kelly on the big screen back to back. But I don't know. I feel like this will tie into the plot line with Finn and the new character
Rose.
Rose, thank you. I haven't quite gotten her name down
That's
yet.
okay. She's new.
But they are going to be, I think, maybe not robbing a casino, but they're definitely doing intel at a casino.
Yeah.
And
Canto Bite.
Yeah, Canto Bite. Canto Bite.
I know it's
still got to work on that.
It
one
rolls
too.
off the tongue weird.
A little bit. Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Cantino Bite or Bright. Cantino Bright.
Plus, I had popcorn for lunch, so my tongue is kind of dried out right now. Yeah.
I need some water.
I do need water. I unfortunately can't live off coffee and popcorn.
I don't know, sir.
I try. But where was I going with it? Oh yeah, but like if you watch To Catch a Thief, I mean, in a nutshell, Cary Grant is this former jewel thief, and there's a series of thefts in the south of France, and he kind of has to come out of semi-retirement because they think he's the one who's doing it, and he's trying to catch this thief. And
I said spy. I meant a thief movie. I'm sorry. Oh well.
That's close enough.
Spy thief. I mean, they're all prowling around.
Well, Hitchcock and Cary Grant also did North by Northwest.
That's
so
probably
you
more
were probably
whatever.
crossing the streams a little bit there. So no, that's a perfectly
They're
understandable.
both Hitchcock tropes, but
yeah,
I got to get my references right.
Like
if
all
you
you need is
me.
like all you need is for some case of mistaken identity in Last Jedi, and suddenly you've like hit the Hitchcock trifecta.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah, but I think it'd be funny if John Boyega kind of stepped into the Cary Grant mantle, and he's this guy who's awkwardly stuck in a situation, like there's a scene in To Catch a Thief where he has to get away from somebody, so he crashes into a flower stand and just like throw off the cops and get a crowd around him so he can escape, and this old woman is banging him on the head with some flowers. So I would love to see.
There's probably going to be that reference somehow in the movie. Some rich alien is going to be smacking Finn upside the head with something not threatening, just more annoying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like I think that this will be maybe where you get the acceptable comedy relief to me, and I think it'll be like just speculating, but I hope it's part of Finn's storyline since it seems to fit what we've heard so far.
Right.
And I think that John Boyega can have some real fun with it.
Oh no, he's such a passionate actor, especially for Star Wars. When he was cast for the Force Awakens, and when they first showed the first trailer, he flipped out like he hadn't seen it. There's a video of him like flipping over the couch and wigging out. So I can only imagine him going through like a more intense scene than what he got to on the Force Awakens. So like, man, I can't wait for him just to dive into it, especially what he just did Detroit, which he had to dive deep into like some serious like heavy acting, because that was a terrible circumstance. Great movie, but it's one of those like, oh, that was a heavy movie, but he did fantastic in it. If he can do something like that and bring that kind of level of performance to The Last Jedi or any of the Star Wars films, we're sitting pretty. So I cannot wait to see that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It really came out of left field, and I had to do kind of a double take when you sent me the show notes the other day. I'm like, well, that actually happened. So more power to him.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of this topic, is like a lot of directors, writers, producers, or whatever take their influence from other things. I mean, there's, like they said, there's no original ideas anymore. That's partially true. A lot of stuff has been done, but we drive influence. We get influence from a lot of things. Like what drives this show. I was influenced by another channel on YouTube. It was like, hey, I want to do that, but I want to do it my way. So I took their idea and put my spin on it. So same sort of thing. Like George Lucas had Kurosawa films, had samurai films. A lot of samurai lore was built into Star Wars. And ever since it's switched over from George Lucas to Disney, each individual directors had their flair on the movies. Like J.J. Abrams had all of his solar lens flares and stylized space travel and all this stuff. That was his touch. Now Rian Johnson gets to go in and do his intricate storytelling, which he does so well. So it's outstanding in knowing that he's taking from one of the greatest directors of film or for horror, the suspense and thrillers is excellent. Excellent news.
One of the best directors of all time, and someone who never won the Oscar for Best Director.
Well, a different time, man. Yeah. He made different kind of movies that were not your typical like Hollywood films. He made horror and suspense films mostly, and with those, especially suspense films, he loves doing suspense and horror. But it was a suspense that was not. It was not. If it was made today, he probably would have. But the time he was making movies, they weren't going for those movies at the Oscars. Yeah. So
I love watching Psycho in the theater because there's always someone in there who's seeing it for the first time. And my God, they scream their head off.
It's such a good film. But with knowing that Rian Johnson took influence from this one particular film makes me even greater hopes to see this movie. And why isn't it December already? One, I'm tired of this heat. And two, I want to see The Last Jedi. Let's get that.
I'll set up for November so I can get Justice League.
Just pile them all in December, all the same day. We'll just spend the whole day at the theater.
Yeah, like once it's November, then you only have 1 month to go.
Yeah, it's true. We're already in September, so
almost there.
Got 3 months.
Good in there.
3 months. Anyway, you know what we don't have 3 months to wait for? We don't have to wait 3 months for Rebels. That's right, Star Wars Rebel is coming back onto the TVs on Disney XD. And coming up real quick, too, it actually comes out 2 days before my 31st birthday. Oh. The first, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. The show titles got released. We had 6 titles come out, but they just released the titles through the end of the year. Now we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes of Rebels by the end of this year, and the next year we're going to get the extra 7. So there's not going to be that many episodes of this season. However, I think they're spreading it out because of The Last Jedi. There might be some small plot points that will carry it through The Last Jedi. Whether that's what Leia's doing, or some other things maybe will carry on. Maybe they don't want to show them just yet, or maybe they just want to prolong this as long as they can, which I don't think is the case. Mm-hmm. However, with those new titles being released, I'm going to go through from top to bottom from the old ones. We've got on Monday, October 16th, we've got Heroes of Mandalore, Part 1 and 2. October 23rd, we've got In the Name of the Rebellions, Part 1 and 2. On October 30th, we've got The Occupation and the Flight of the Defender. On November 6th, we've got Kindred and Crawler Commanders. And then on the November 13th, we have Rebel Assault. Now, that's a lot of fun stuff. That doesn't sound like we're getting hardly any filler episodes, if any filler episodes. It looks like they're tying this all up in one nice, pretty package to come right before the events of Rogue One, which is fantastic. Maybe we'll actually see some animated shore troopers, which are my favorite kind of stormtrooper, because they look cool and you can sit down in their armor. That's right. But because you missed it 2 weeks ago, I'll give you the speculations on kind of our thoughts, or Sean and my thoughts.
Yeah, I did watch the episode at least.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I tried to catch up and not fall behind. But yeah, I did like how you and Sean pointed out there. Yeah, there's no filler episodes, and I think you guys said that the filler ones are typically ones you can kind of live without.
Right.
It's kind of what their purpose is.
They prolong. They give you little nuggets of something, but it's only like little grains of salt, but they need to fill in a season with something. Like the last season, we got AP5 singing in space for like 2 or 3 minutes of the episode, and it was all about the droids. And AP5 was cool because the voice of AP5 was very influenced by Alan Rickman, and they did that on purpose because Alan Rickman had just recently passed away. So I don't know if this is correct, they were going to get Alan Rickman to voice it. But they got the guy who got to do it was very honored to do it. He sounds very much like him, but in a more robotic voice of Alan Rickman. It sounds fantastic.
I can imagine, like, before every take, he's got Alan Rickman in his head saying, "Do not disappoint me." Yeah.
I'll cut your heart out with a spoon. Why a spoon? Because it'll hurt more. Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, it was. But Heroes of Mandalore, it does get teased in the opening trailer for season 4, which is fantastic. We know that Mandalorian lore is very heavy. Dave Filoni really loves the Mandalorian lore, so we know we're going to get that because it's Sabine's story from season 3. So we'll probably get a tie-in with that. They'll probably finish out her storyline. Maybe she'll become some body of importance in the Mandalorian. I don't know. We'll see. Because in the Clone Wars later on, or the Clone Wars were beforehand, so the Mandalorians are sort of in disarray. But maybe Sabine will bring order and justice to that. In the Name of the Rebellion, we probably get a rebellion offensive, probably with this against the Empire, maybe on Lothal, probably. We got The Occupation and the Flight of the Defender. Now, Sean and The Occupation is probably, these are probably 2 really heavily influenced Imperial episodes. And our thing is the Flight of the Defender. Now, we're thinking if the Defender is an Imperial ship, or is it going to be a Rebel ship? I said it was an Imperial ship because a lot of the Imperial ships are named have ominous names like the Defender, which is, I think is this one, and then we have
the Executioner.
The Executioner, so it's one of those things where I believe it's going to be a nasty sort of Imperial ship that will wreak havoc on the rebellion. So, but with these new ones, Kindred and Crawler commanders, I think this is going to go back and forth. We're going to have Rebel episodes. We're going to have Imperial episodes. We're going to have Rebel episodes. We're going to have Imperial episodes. With the Kindred, I think that's probably going to be an Ahsoka episode if I had to guess. So there's been a lot of speculation on if she's the wolf, and then Dave Filoni said not the wolf.
So they haven't settled Ahsoka's
not yet,
because didn't she and Anakin have a showdown?
And season 2. But Dave Filoni came out and said that she lives.
Okay, so she lives again.
She lives. He actually is kind of bitter about it. He's like, "This is what happens when you're ambiguous and you let fans decide."
Oh God.
Which is fair enough that way. And so it's one of those things. But I'm guessing.
Like I've heard of cat and mouse games. This is like a cat and child.
Yeah, I'm guessing Kindred and the Crawler Commanders are going to be a episode about building up the rebellion with maybe some outside help, Ahsoka. And then we have Rebel Assault, which I think is again another Rebel exactly how it sounds, Rebel Assault. Either they're assaulting somebody or they're having an assault on them. But we know that from Rogue One's perspective that the Rebels have not had a string of good luck.
Well, yeah, like in Rogue One, that was their first victory.
That was their first victory, so we're probably going to see a lot of dead rebels, unfortunately. So your thoughts on these names, and are you looking forward to it?
Well, I don't watch the show, but I like everyone's enthusiasm for it, and
you should watch the show.
I got a lot to do, man. But
fair enough.
Yeah, do you have any? Well, obviously, I'm sure you have your own thoughts, but what do you like? What could the rebels be planning to assault that's not the Death Star plans or something? What's the current campaign right now that they could be working on?
By that point, you have a small rebel cell on the planet's Crate, which will be in The Last Jedi.
It's actually called Crate?
Crate.
Yeah. How do you
Crete.
spell that?
It's Crete. Krite. Anyway, CRIT.
CRIT.
Anyway, or whatever spelling it is, but it's another desert type planet. But it's not sand. It's just a dry planet. So it's.
Oh, is that the one with the red dirt?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's Crate.
That one actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah, that's Crate. In the Leia novel, we get to learn about where that's their initial base, their secret location for planning and plotting against the Empire.
Okay.
Where Bail Organa goes, and spoiler alert, I'm spoiling this stuff for you. Where he goes to try to build up the rebellion, or at least the initial stages of the rebellion. So
Bail Organa's a character on the show?
I don't think he's in Rebels.
Okay, cool.
But Princess Leia is, and they haven't blown up Alderaan, so there's a chance that Bail could be in the show.
Okay.
Which would
be cool to see an animated version of Jimmy Smits. Yeah,
that would be cool. I mean, he was such a big part of the Leia novel that I'm like, yeah. I mean, I just read about him, so that's what I'm good with him now. But it's one of those plot points where I don't know if they're going to get to it, even though Rebels set it up, or the Leia novel set it up perfectly because it's right in that same time frame. Depending on where Rebels stops, because Crate is we get to see Crate when Leia is about 3 years younger than we see here in A New Hope. So depending on where Rebels leaves off, we'll see. Okay. It'd be an interesting plot point.
No, it would be cool if they would just settle everything, because I know
they have to.
Well, I would just being really cold on the show. As far as attention goes, not tone or reaction to, because I obviously haven't watched it. I think it'd be cool if we know what, or if we knew what Obi-Wan was doing exactly before he met up with Luke.
I don't think we're gonna get that in the show.
I would like to see that kind of transition.
We kind of got that at the end of season 3 when we had Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, where Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul. Spoiler.
Again.
Well, in the Clone Wars, in the Clone Wars, they go back and forth in the Clone Wars, back and forth. And Darth Maul got the drop on him a couple times and kicked his butt pretty good on a couple of occasions. He's a very powerful opponent. But in the end, he let hate get to him, and that was his downfall. But I don't think we're gonna get there. I think we're gonna leave Obi-Wan alone until we see the Obi-Wan movie, which they did announce.
Yeah.
We'll get to that at some other point in time. But we're gonna go kick it to our last story here. We got.
Are you ready for some football?
Speaking of, we got his shirt on today. We got.
There we go.
For Dak. I don't know if you know. I know Mark Ellis. I know you're not a Cowboys fan, and that's fine.
They got like 2 Redskin fans on the panel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Mark Ellis is one of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, he can be whatever fan. Just know that he's wrong. But I keep wanting to say Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill tweeted out.
You mean the Joker?
Yeah, that guy.
He was kind of joking with us.
Yeah. So
maybe, right?
he sent out a tweet the other day. He said you should watch the Vikings Bear game for no particular reason, and he just sort of like left it at that. It was a response to a fan asking when the trailer was going to be released, and so without saying it, he says it. It's like you should watch Monday Night Football on October 6th or whatever date it was for the Vikings Bear game for no particular reason. So with that said, I think Lucasfilm was like, Mark, and he was like, what? I'm Luke Skywalker, motherfucker. Anyway,
I can just imagine like Kathleen Kennedy or one of the head honchos at Disney. I almost said
Kevin
Marvel.
Kevin Feige.
Not Feige, but he could be intimidating if he wanted to. But I can just imagine someone appearing on a screen and just going, "Do not fail us again."
I'm in a black robe. Oh, man's like, you failed us for the last time. I'm like, no, wrong movie. Wrong movie. But no. Funny thing was he after that tweet was taken down, he's like, it was a joke that was about football, and he said no one gets me, which is hilarious because it's like, no, Mark, we knew what you were doing. I think that was a big oops on your part. Which is fine. I mean, you can't really get mad at Mark Hamill at this point in time. He's brought in your franchise. But I gotta ask, are you watching Monday Night Football on October 6th for the Vikings Bear game?
I think I will now. I have no other reason to. I mean, I do have a couple friends who are Packers fans, so naturally, they are not fans of the Vikings or the Bears. So this is a division that I'm not used to following. The Bears. It's a division I'm not used to following. I'm not sure what kind of condition the teams are in. I haven't checked in on the Vikings since McNabb was playing.
Sam Bradford plays for the Vikings.
Bradford does?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
football.
That might be interesting football then. So.
Yeah, he got injured, so I don't know if he's actually on the...
Oh, okay.
Anyway. I know too much about football. I know more about Star Wars than I know about football, but I know about football. Anyway. But yeah, no, Monday Night Football, I think it's going to be fantastic. It'll be a kind of the similar... feel that we got with Force Awakens with their press team and their the amount of trailers we get, and when we get them, we got a lot of trailers and press for Rogue One and not Rogue One, Last Jedi. Around that time, football season, we got I think it was, I don't know if it was Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. We got one of the first main trailers. I know because I was like watching that game and they delayed it a week. It's like, no, you swine. It's like it was a game I didn't want to watch. It was like I knew it was coming, and I found like the little article, I don't know if it was a magazine or a newspaper. It's like, yeah, it's gonna Force Awakens little thing is gonna be this time, and it was never on. So they waited the next week. It's like, you. But
yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember if it was Thor Ragnarok or Last Jedi, but I read the code name for one of those movies in some article not too long ago, and one of them was called Space Bear. So the Bears are playing. I'm wondering if there's someone there who's like a Chicago fan or
Space Bears, I think, was the codename for Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, yeah. So you got some kind of bear connection going on here.
Maybe Rian Johnson's a Bears fan.
Maybe. I don't know his biography or where he's from, but he could be from Sweet Home Chicago.
Well, I mean, good for him, I guess. I mean, we always like to know the losing team gets fans too. But it's one of those. It's one of those things.
I mean, well, I don't know. Just as long as the Eagles lose, I'll be happy.
Welcome to the Star Wars Sports Radio Show.
Sports
and Star Wars. That'd be an interesting thing where you would do sports references and I'll try to counter it with Star Wars references. Be like,
okay,
well, this and this and this. I'm like, but look over da 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 da. I'm like, it's this Star Wars Sports Radio.
Or like we should just like off camera make up the names of like certain pod race drivers and just talk about the latest race. I can't believe that Mendelssohn had a wipeout on like the 5th loop, man. I mean, that was tragic. I thought he had a great reinforced rig, and it was just hard to watch.
Yeah, those turbines didn't go very fast.
Yeah, I mean that also be both wins every time.
Yeah, if you don't have a good pit droid team, you're just not going to win races.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those androids are just kind of rusty. You can't really trust them to do that kind of work anymore. Plus, they always get sucked into the motor.
Yeah, that's
or turbine. Excuse me.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it at this point in time. That would be a very boring show, and we'd have to pre-script that, I think.
Yeah. In the meantime, in Dak we trust.
In Dak we trust. That's right. But I think that wraps up all of our news stories, guys. Make sure you watch Monday Night Football for the Last Jedi trailer. With that being said, do you have anything else?
I did want to ask, since for 2 of the shows that me and Sean did, we had so many Star Wars book news come out. So do you actually have the Phasma book right now?
My mom has it.
Okay.
But yes, I do have it.
Okay. Well.
I don't have the Leia one. I have it digitally. But if I find it on a shelf, I will buy it.
Okay.
I wanted to burn through them very fast, so I got I got an Audible, Phasma and Leia back to back.
Okay.
And Leia is a very short book. Phasma is very fun. Real quick description about Phasma. A lot of people will say this is wrong. I preferred Phasma over the Leia novel.
Okay.
And that was because of the storytelling that I liked. I as much as I love Princess Leia and I love Carrie Fisher and I love what Princess Leia did for female heroes and heroines and bringing the strong female lead to the front, even though she wasn't technically a lead. I still enjoyed the Phasma novel better because yes, it had more action in it, but at the same time, it was in my opinion, it was told in a 1001 Arabian Nights style meets Mad Max.
Ooh, okay.
So the storytelling is in the style of 1001 Arabian Nights, and the actual story itself is like Mad Max.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. So the setting is like Mad Max.
Okay.
It's very good. I enjoyed it.
It's in a desert.
Kind of a desert, but not. But they're by an ocean.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. And there's an explanation to why the planet isn't the way it is.
Okay.
Which makes me go, thank God it's not just another desert planet.
Yeah.
But there is an explanation, and it's at the end of the book. But it really doesn't have anything to do with the story other than it's a minor plot point later.
Is there a mad, perverted leader telling people, do not become addicted to water?
No.
Okay, darn.
It's it does have a Mad Max vibe to it, though.
Yeah, I can imagine Phasma taking on, why can't I think of his name right now? Shoot, the guy from Fury Road. Oh,
I didn't see it, so I
might have
no idea.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, darn.
There's a lot. I still haven't watched Logan.
You still haven't watched Logan, yeah.
I think it's downstairs now. I moved it downstairs though.
Okay, well you're a few steps closer to your TV.
That's right. But yeah, I would assume if you liked Mad Max like sort of visuals.
Like, brief time.
Yeah.
Immortan Joe is the character's name.
Who plays him?
I'm blanking on the actor's name, but he was in the very first Mad Max movie. Yeah. So they brought him back. George Miller brought him back.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's very fun, and there's a character. His name is that's a counter to Captain Phasma. You get to meet Captain Cardinal.
Okay.
So instead of having a shiny chrome suit, you have a blood red stormtrooper.
Okay.
And he's the only one like it. And I think he's going to be a plot point, probably perhaps for The Last Jedi. If not, he's a plot point for the episode 9 because he seems like he's a plot point. Let's put it that way. I won't ruin it yet. I'll give you more time before I get into it. But it's a fun book.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah. Anyways, with that being said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this show up. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your exes. I don't care what you do. Just make sure you watch the show.
This is Texas. We're full of exes.
Zing. Make sure you click right here, guys. Right here is going to be the subscribe button. Here you'll see the show from 2 weeks ago. Then over here you'll see this show from 3 weeks ago because we weren't on air last week. But other than that, take care, guys, and have a safe weekend. See you next time.
Good night.
Bye-bye.